Welcome to the GSL with me in South Korea, and as you can see, next to me today, we have a new caster, and this is Kelly. His name is Doa.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? How are you today?
I am feeling absolutely fantastic, Kelly. I could not be happier to be here in Seoul, Korea, casting the GSL Code A, and I just can't believe I'm here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be casting with you, Kelly.
I know. Plus today we have really great games.
We do.
have Team Liquid.net's very own Liquid Heart going up against I am LosirA, considered the second best Zerg in Code A this season. Actually, the game is loaded, so we are about to go. What games are you most excited to see today?
This one, obviously, very exciting, having the last foreigner in the GSL competing against this really, really top Zerg player, too. At the same time, I'm pretty excited to see Lenok play in the next game. He's always been one of my favorite Zergs. And, we'll see if he can pull out a win today as well. But looks like the game is going to be starting fairly soon. So we're probably going to jump right into that. Kelly, what do you think? What are your predictions for today?
I'm not going to say my predictions because people already know I'm going to root for Hulk today.
It's a given.
Plus,
I might be rooting for
we have a
Hulk
lot of other really good players, like Slayer's Alicia, who's playing in the third game. In the fourth game, I think we have OGS Supernova, a really super player playing against TSL Killer. We just saw him last Friday.
Yeah, and you mentioned OGS Supernova. It's going to be interesting to see him play today because the two games that he played to get to this point were pretty much cheesy. I mean, the strategy his opponent decided to use against him was kind of cheese, so I feel like we didn't really get a good sense of his playstyle quite as much from that match, so hopefully we'll see a little bit longer macro games today. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. Really, today is the day of the Zerg, I would say. There's especially in the first two matches, two of the best Zergs I've seen in a long time to come up through Code A, and I'd say both of them have a good shot of taking it all the way.
Well, most of these players are going to go to the up and down match.
Yeah.
What's hard is that a lot of Titans are waiting and lurking in the up and down match for them because of Code S. There are so many upsets. We have Nasty, Slayer's Boxer.
I'm MVP. We've got
MVP.
Marine King.
Just so
the up and down matches are going to be crazy. And we're going to take a look at Saturday's match results real quick here. They're going to pop up on the screen in just a moment. There they are.
Okay, we have Sanzanif, the Titan, who took down I am MVP and Nasty. Oh no, sorry, Nasty and Slayer's Boxer. Sanzanif 2-1 OGS the win. SC for you 2-1 TSL Trickster. We have Fox lead 2-0 OGS and Snare. Annie Pro Prime versus Xanax Curix, and he came out of that 2-0.
And we're going to take a look at today's matches as well. Of course, first we've got Infinite Miracles LosirA versus Liquid Huck. Then we've got ST Virus versus Lenok Foyu. TSL Rain versus Slayer's Alicia. And OGS Supernova versus TSL Killer.
Alright, well, really soon, I promise you, we are going to go into the match.
Pretty soon.
I really think that actually we are quite lucky today. I don't think we have any mirror matches, right?
Yeah, that's right. We don't have any mirror matches at all today, which, I don't know. Some mirror matches are pretty cool. I like TVT. I like ZVZ. PvP,
well, PvP is fairly standard. You normally transit from 4 gates to Colossus. That's the most standard one.
Yeah.
Maybe for TVT there's more variation. Like we could see during last week Code's matches where Fox Lean played. That was very, very good.
Yeah, just huge variations in TVT right now. And just going back to PvP for a second, I think that's going to be a matchup that's going to change quite a bit in the next couple of months. I mean, there is always that, the 4-gate that kind of is over top of everything. But at the same time, Protoss players are going to figure out ways to stop that. A lot of good Protoss players already have, and we're going to see some more different strategies in the future here. Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering why either Tasteless or Ortosis isn't here, don't worry. I didn't sneak backstage and knock him on the head with a sack of quarters or something like that. I've been in Korea for 4 days now preparing for this, so it's good to be on stage.
Yep, he's been doing a good job. Been seeing him practicing, and Tasteless are still doing Code S. And I think they're doing all the up and down matches.
I think so, yeah.
So you guys need to tune in for that, for sure.
Those up and down matches are going to be insane.
I
know we've said it before, but you just can't say it enough. This season's up and down matches are going to be crazy.
I think, currently, I think I dare to say this, but Code A this season all the players are so good. Some of the games are slightly better than some of the Codex matches because they are so close. Some Codex matches, they are kind of very one-sided, but Code matches have been very, very, very close. We've seen a lot of comeback, like Hug last week.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, a lot last season. There was a kind of a big difference between the Code S and the Code A games. You really did notice that variation. This season, there's still a difference, but really not as much as there used to be, and that's an interesting thing to note. But really, when you think about the sort of limited number of spots in Code S and Code A, the quality of the players is probably going to get fairly even as time goes on.
And you know what's the bad thing? There's so many good players.
I know.
It's hard for you to choose who you want to root for.
It's just not room for them all. I'd root for all of them. But it looks like the game is starting. I see the loading screen in front of me, so we are going to be going in there in just a moment.
Yeah, very soon.
For reals.
So the first game is going to be Liquid Hug versus LosirA. I've been rooting for LosirA since the start of the season, but now he's going to play Hug. I mean, I want to support both of them, but still, I love Hug, so I have to go for him for sure. We're going to go right into game.
Let's do it.
Alright, at the bottom left corner on Zelnaga Caverns, the one and only I am LosirA.
There he is. What a handsome man. His APM is increasing as we watch. It's only at yellow right now. Oh, down to blue. Come on, LosirA. You can get that up to red at some point this game. I believe in you. There it is. Oh.
Alright, and at the top right-hand corner, the blue Protoss, we have Liquid Hug.
Liquid Hug, our last foreigner. It's really, there he is. His APM is already red. Wow, on fire. Oh, down to blue, though. It'll be back up there in a moment. Don't worry about it. But yeah.
Look at the concentration in his eyes.
He looks intense. You know, it's really too bad to see two top caliber players meet like that. I mean, of course, it does produce really, really good games, but at the same time, you hate to see one of them go home. But both of these guys are going to the up and down matches, so that is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and both of them have already secured a place in Code.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Next season. The thing is, sometimes when some of your two favorite players meet, you're like, oh no, I wish that was in the finals. But
yeah,
no, that's not the fate of them. They have to meet in the quarterfinals today.
Yeah, it is still a big deal to win Code, of course, but I mean, just getting this far does so many good things for you as a player. You know, like you said, guaranteeing that spot in Code next season. Looks like we do have Huck putting up the start of a wall there. He's getting his gateway. Meanwhile, back at the base of LosirA spawning pool, about ready to finish.
I'm sure he's really ready for this match.
Oh, I would say so.
Watching him practice yesterday, he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve today. I know his most standard build is 3-gate fast expand, but I guess if he wins his first game, if he feels safe, he would show you guys some of his new strats.
That would be cool. It's always fun to see the pro players come up with little tricks that we may not have seen before. Looks like LosirA sending out a couple Zerglings to look for any sort of proxy pylons or any sort of shenanigans of that nature. Huck in the meantime completing his wall up with that cybernetics core. It looks like he does have 2 gas as well. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see, like what you said, that 3-gate expand, getting a lot of sentries out there. It's very, very safe. Very good against Zerg. And right now, Zergs in general have been having kind of a tough time against Protoss.
Yeah, I guess it's because of the late game army unit composition. As a Zerg player, you really would want to go at least 2 base. 1 or 2 base up, but safely 2 base up so you can have good reproduction rate against a Protoss player. Looks like Hug is going to go for his standard 3-gate fast expand. We're going to see how does the Zerg player react to that. I bet you didn't know this, but LosirA and Hug are actually friends.
I actually didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
I saw them being friendly in the makeup room before the event started.
Makeup room.
And, makeup room. Yes, it's the makeup room. What would you call it?
Yeah, it's a makeup room.
It is a makeup room.
It sounds like a makeup room.
Yeah, not make out room. We have to clarify. Huck and LosirA weren't in there making out. They were getting makeup put on them. very important thing to clarify there.
Not that Hug needs makeup. He actually naturally looks like Hug Bieber.
That's right, that's right. He has a Bieber haircut. I heard rumors that he's going to, if he loses today, that he's going to cut his hair like Jinro.
No, we're not letting him.
We'll see. Kelly's not going to allow it. So Huck had better win, otherwise he's going to have to fight Kelly as well as cut his hair. Nobody
Looks like
wants
he's
that.
going to go for Hallucination for his
and
Phoenix.
some Zerglings. Yeah, LosirA actually preventing Huck from expanding a little bit there. Nice job by LosirA. Huck's going to get the Expo down anyway. There it goes. And the Zerglings are going to have to do a little bit of running away. Huck looking very stable right now. In the meantime, back at the base of LosirA, looks like he is getting a Roach Warren as well. That is something a lot of Zerg players like to do to punish Protoss that do that expand build. Looks like Huck's moving out. LosirA still doing some investigating with those Zerglings around the map. He wants to make sure that he can take out any of those pylons fairly early if possible. Huck just stopping by the Zelnaga Tower for just a second. That's actually a pretty good amount of speedlings for LosirA.
He can actually prevent this expansion he wants to, but he does not want to go for the army that Huck has up front.
Going for the counterattack. That's a lot of Zerglings. A great force field by Huck, preventing those from getting it, but not all the way. Another force field going down. That sentry has got to feel pretty afraid. In the meantime, LosirA going after the Nexus. Having to pull back, though. Nice force fields. You know, if there's one thing you can rely on Huck for, it's awesome, awesome force field usage.
He has one of the best force fields in the world.
Yes.
For a Protoss player. You do see that Huck is actually going for 5 gate for this round.
Yep's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on with that amount of gateways. LosirA's still poking with those Zerglings to take a look at things.
It's kind of funny that he's not putting down Robo Bay though.
You know, I was kind of a little bit surprised about that myself, but at the same time, you look at LosirA try to engage this force as we see the hallucinated Phoenix for Huck doing some investigating himself, but with the composition that Huck has right now, he can just really put a lot of pressure on LosirA. He doesn't even necessarily need that Robo Bay quite yet. But if this game goes on a little bit longer, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one added on there. Yeah,
well,
he is getting 2 more gas right now. It is natural, so some sort of tech is coming.
For people who have been following Huck's game, you would know that he is not a standard Void Ray Colossus user. He actually likes to go very heavy gateway with Immortus against Zerg, no less, which, you know, it's not the most popular unit composition right now. But he seems to be one of the only one who can put it off quite well. You do see LosirA going for the counter attack straight away when he sees Huck's army pulling out, but the sentries are doing a good job preventing the speedlings from running in to the mineral line. And looks like Huck will try to put some pressure on.
Yeah, Huck pulling back for just a moment, but I think he definitely does want to attack LosirA at this point, but LosirA doing such a great job of keeping Huck off his back. I mean, he's keeping the prod in there with those Zerglings.
Well, it looks like LosirA is getting all the upgrades he needs, and he's already getting a second expansion. Huck is actually going to come in and scout that immediately, and I think when he sees that, he'll want to push out for sure, because there's no point, you know, trying to fight a 3-base Zerg later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So may as well just end it on, you know, try to do a 2-base versus 2-base and keep the Zerg off the second expansion.
Yeah, we're really getting to the point where Huck needs to put some pressure on LosirA, otherwise he's just going to start taking the entire map. Protoss can, of course, be very, very strong on 2-base, but you definitely don't want to leave the Zerg alone, that is, for quite this long. Now, we do have a Robo Bay just finishing for Huck, so there's the Robo. Getting Observer, and I would imagine probably Colossus in the future.
I guess he would be getting more of Immortus for him. That's his favorite unit army composition. You see LosirA actually dropping a Changeling down in Huck's base. Huck sees that Overseer. And you do see he has a Forge coming up, so he's getting +1 for his gateway units. Once he gets +1, he would start moving out. Phoenixes are actually doing a good job scouting, getting way more scout than they should. And LosirA Borrow just got up.
Yep, but here comes Huck. He's got a really scary looking army here. A lot of sentries, a huge amount of sentries. A good amount of Stalkers and Zealots as well. Will he be able to put the hurt on LosirA? He's taking out a lot of creep tumors. That's definitely going to help.
Well, his army is definitely big enough to fight right now if he wants to, but LosirA is mass producing a lot more roaches.
And here comes LosirA. He's going to be forced to engage pretty soon. He does try to get the concave. Nice force fields by Huck, preventing a lot of that army from going through there, funneling and cutting off a little bit. LosirA has burrow, but not burrowed movement quite yet, so Huck will be able to take out a lot of these roaches. Wow, look at that force field just letting a few units through at a time, but here comes LosirA from the other side as well. Huck with his sentries getting left behind a little bit. Oh no! Huck's going to lose almost all his sentries. No, he will actually lose all his sentries. Huck is actually in huge trouble right now.
LosirA actually tried to sandwich Huck and almost successfully did that. Huck does not have a strong enough army right now, but he does have a couple more stalkers and immortals in the base. Having a look at the unit army composition, he does need a couple of more sentries, but looks like he's going to choose whopping more stalkers. Does not have blink yet because he does not have a counter up, but he's gonna push LosirA back. He really wants to put that pressure on the second expansion as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like he's going for the expansion himself though, and LosirA is straight away going for that goal base after putting immense pressure on Huck.
Yeah, with that huge amount of roach, Huck knows that he kind of has to take his time for a little bit there. That will let LosirA get that third base up, that gold base up. In the meantime, if we look at the worker count, LosirA had 73 over 62. Makes sense since he is on 3 bases right now. We'll see if Huck can catch up in the near future. +1 weapons is almost finishing right now as well.
Looks like he's getting a robotics facility.
Yeah, gonna be getting that Colossus out. Should be pretty helpful against Zerg. In the meantime, LosirA basically macroing up. If we take a look at the army tab, LosirA significantly ahead actually right now, 189 to 137. This third base for Huck needs to really work. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty hard to hold off LosirA as the army continues to grow. Actually, LosirA basically maxed 199 out of 200 right now.
Oh, he's going for a pure roach army, which is not very good for Huck right now because he has only purely stalkers and he does not have blink yet. So he's not going to be that mobile, and his sentries count is not that high for this time. He's just going to go for mostly a immortal stalker army.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the upgrades too, the roaches for LosirA at 1 carapace, 2 missile attack, whereas Huck is only 1-0 I believe right now. We also have a Baneling nest going up for LosirA, and here's what looks to be a drop coming in from LosirA, but it's actually not. It is a diversion trying to get Huck to pull back all his units. Is he going to fall for it? Doesn't look like he is. Huck sees the attack coming into his third. Will he be able to save it? LosirA has a large amount of roaches, more force fields going down from Huck. He's got a good amount of immortals. Those will do very, very well against the roaches. LosirA may need to pull back right now. I don't know if he should be engaging. Yeah, he does have to pull back. Huck with a great job not falling for that fake drop from LosirA. Securing that third. Wow. Huck knows what's going on, Kelly.
Yep. Well, he's going to try to push for right now. I think he should try to take down and prevent the go expansion.
Yeah.
Needs to do that. Otherwise, LosirA will be so ahead of him. A couple of Banelings actually morphing out. And LosirA hoping to do a lot of damage with these. You do see that he has Colossus up. 1 Colossus up at the moment. This is a new playing style from Huck actually, because you don't normally see him making Colossus. So it'd be interesting to see what he does with that. Speedling's gonna run into his second expansion.
Yep, Speedlings are getting into the third base there. They're going to be able to go up to the probes. There's a good amount of zealots there. He's going to actually run into the natural. Does Huck have anything there to defend? A Colossus pops out right now. There's a good amount of cannons there. I don't think LosirA is going to be able to do too much damage with that. Yeah, it looks like the Colossus and cannons are going to be able to clean that up quite well. Huck losing a cannon there.
It's not going to be worried though. Having a look at the army composition, we do have 190 foot against 180 foot from Huck. So he's just slightly below. That's fine. But he actually hallucinates a Colossus up. That's going to do actually quite a bit to the Zerg player. He'd be thinking that's more Colossus than he wants to deal with. Here comes a Roach army and a couple of Banelings. Banelings not doing that much damage to Stalkers at the moment, but you do see there's another drop incoming. He has to try to avoid that. Dropping Banelings onto the Stalkers at the back. Roach is doing actually not such a good job. He's forced to pull back. Finally, LosirA is getting a Spire to try to get more Corruptors for later on.
Yeah, LosirA is definitely going to need Corruptors to handle that. In the meantime, at the main base of Huck, more Overlords flying around. LosirA also taking, looks like a 5th base right now. Huck so far doing a really good job of fending off all of LosirA's attacks, and LosirA has been playing very well and very creatively too. Actually, both players playing extremely well right now.
Looks like LosirA wants to keep the pressure on. He's going to move out with his Roach army. that has all the necessary upgrades that he needs. Here comes the Roach army.
He does have a good amount of Banelings mixed in there as well. Of course, Banelings not terribly effective against Stalkers. Huck forced to run, turning around, firing with that Thermal Lance from the Colossus. And yeah, you're right. It is kind of strange to see Huck using Colossus. You don't see that too often. Right now, LosirA, though, using the mobility that he's got with that army to try to get Huck a little bit out of position. Trying to poke in there. His army does get split up. A couple Colossus for Huck are out of position, but it's still not quite enough. And here comes LosirA again. He's got a really nice concave. The upgrades are in LosirA's favor as well. Colossus out on the western ledge there, firing at the Ro8 as well. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. I think Huck is going to be able to hold this. It looks like he should be able to. Yeah, with that Immortal mix in there, that should be just fine. The Colossi not taking any damage at all. And LosirA again forced to pull back, and now LosirA's got to be worried.
4 Colossus up on the view for Huck at the moment. He can actually just waltz into the goal base and snipe it down really easily, which looks like that's what he's gonna do right now. He is moving out to the goal base. Decides to back off though. He actually he shouldn't be that worried because, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of Corruptors up at the moment. I'm not sure I agree what Huck is doing right now. He's playing too defensively and LosirA has so much map control at the moment.
Yeah, it's, I mean, LosirA does need to be afraid of a Protoss on 3 bases, of course, especially if that gold gets up. But Huck, yeah, definitely playing a lot more passively than we're used to. He does have to cancel that gold. Here comes the Corruptors right now. Is it going to be enough to take out the Colossus? Corruption going down on the Colossi as well to do even more damage to that. Banelings and Roaches coming in. And this is going to be the fight that decides the game, I think. Banelings getting it, taking out a lot of the Stalkers. LosirA again with a lot of upgraded Roaches. Huck just forced farther and farther back into his natural expansion, losing a couple buildings as well there. The Robo-Bay does go down. Twilight Council's okay. LosirA does pull back, but if we look at the army tab now, Huck down to just 108 to the 200 of LosirA. LosirA already maxed again, and still just relentless pressure from our Zerg player today.
I mean, Huck is actually running on 3 bases, and when he had his Colossus, he should have pushed when he saw LosirA didn't have any Corruptors, but he chose not to be aggressive. I could say he could actually play better, but here comes the Stalkers flicking in, trying to take some of the Corruptors down, but this Roach army is gonna prove too big for Huck to hold at the moment. He has a high Templar though, not managing to actually get any Storms out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be enough time for Huck, I'm afraid. Looks like this 3rd base might be lost. He does have 1 Archon out, it does get lost. There's a GG. LosirA taking down Huck in game 1 here on Xel'Naga Caverns. LosirA's got to be happy with that. A mellow blue for his headset at the moment as he relaxes over his win.
Well, Xel'Naga is actually kind of a more it's kind of a better map for Protoss than a Zerg player, because it's such a short distance. The Protoss can actually keep constant pressure on the Zerg, but this time LosirA actually has way more, put so much pressure on Huck. Huck couldn't push out at all, and he didn't actually go for the timing attack when he should have earlier, before the Corruptors were up and when he has Colossus.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of nerves for Huck today?
It's his first game. He can come back from that. That's what happened last week. Lost his first game, won the next 2.
It is a best of 3, so Huck is definitely still in it. I'd say either one of these players has a definite chance of taking the match. Pretty evenly matched as far as skill goes in most cases. Our next map is going to be Crevasse. It looks like Crevasse, that's right.
Crevasse is such a big map. I mean, it's going to be slightly hard for Huck because there are 16 bases. The LosirA can actually expand wherever he wants to, and it'll be very hard for Huck to harass. But I've seen him play on this map last night, so hopefully his new strat works out for him.
Yeah,
it's also kind of based on spawning position.
That's true too. It is a rotationally symmetrical map. I love that term. Rotationally symmetrical. I don't know why. But the game is starting. The countdown has begun. Let's get going in a moment. This is harder than it looks. Well, the game started. Huck's mining right now. We'll tell you where he is in a moment. We're going to keep it a secret for now.
Yeah, we're going to keep it a secret.
It's a big mystery.
You guys have to wait for a bit.
That's right. Yeah, the game's going. Let's do it.